right, this is, oh shoot, what is it? Is it March? It's a whirlwind. I think it's March 12th. And it's not a meeting, as you'll notice. None of my board members are present, and that's just fine. Typically, I would have if I'm not going to have quorum, I'd still be here to address the public and discuss anything going on in the township. Usually those aren't recorded just because there's no quorum, there's no real need. I thought it was necessary to record this one because of SB 270, which is the Township Consolidation Bill, which is going to affect every township to some degree, whether they're forced to merge or there's a change to their fire territory. Just a lot of things up in the air. I wanted to have this meeting to talk to the public as well as put it out online. Just what I understand. I may get some things wrong, but this is just what I understand, what I have heard. I've been trying to pay attention to this because obviously it's going to impact everybody. So this is basically what I understand is that SB 270 is a township consolidation bill. It was one of two presented to the legislature. I believe there's one in the Senate, one in the House. This one ended up passing both bodies after revision. And basically, rather than, I believe, being a hard population cap, as the other one, I believe, was, this one is through criteria and a point system, golf rules, so you want as few points as possible. I believe it is 4 or more points, and you are forced to consolidate. And there's a period next year until halfway through next year to consolidate on your own terms with another township, or I believe at the end of the year, you're forced to, through whatever process they'll choose, if you get 4 or more points. Now, to my knowledge, I don't know, I believe even if you get less than the 4 points, you may have somebody else forcibly merged into your township, or you may choose to merge with townships that did score 4 or more. I don't know if you can even, you may be able to merge 2 entities even if they both have, say, a score of 3. Well, shoot, what else is there? I know there's a lot more, but I'm getting on a tangent.
How did the point system?
Yes, okay, so what is the point system? The point system, first off, that hasn't, I guess, been finalized, but Indiana Township Association, I believe, is the entity that put out a survey which reflects their understanding of what that point system is. That's, I believe, total of 8, and it goes through things like what your annual budget is, which is, I think the question was, is your budget over $100,000? Ours wasn't. That's 1 point. Another question is, it goes through some reporting requirements. Did you file your AFRs? I believe we did, so that's not a point. Do you handle a fire territory? Are we the operating body of fire territory, our fire station? Now, we are not. That would be, I believe, Olive is the operator of our fire territory. So that's a point for us. And I believe there's another point in there that we have gotten. And it goes through things like township assistance. Did you get 20, I think that was the other point, is did you get 24 requests for township assistance? Now, I get township assistance requests. I follow up with them. I think people from the public, I mean, I'm not going to put you on blast, and I know I can't. But if you know, have reached out, that I answer those and try to help as much as the township feasibly can. But there was a hard number of 24 requests, and I don't believe I had reached the request of 24, so that's a point. But then there's other things like just the annual financial reports. Were those filed? Were your gateway, your minutes of every meeting that you had filed? Your financial statements filed, those kind of basic things that every township should be doing. If you didn't do that, you automatically have 4 points because somebody wasn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you're going to be merged into an entity that did do what they're supposed to be doing, and that should raise the standard of all townships and ultimately stop paying people to do services that they aren't doing, or something to that effect. So that's my understanding of the point system. I believe we will have 3 points. I believe we will not be forced to merge. I think it's possible that we get 4 points, and I think it's reasonable to appeal what I think might be that 4th point to get back down to 3 points. And under my understanding, I think it is possible that Hudson Township will not have to merge. Now, in the interest of being proactive, I think it's worth talking to our neighbors, and to that effect, I've opened up lines of communication with Wills Township trustee, Kankakee's trustee. I have the number for the chief, and I mean to have a conversation with him, as well as Galena Township. I spoke to one of their board members, not their trustee, however. And are you here for to join us for the conversation about SB 270, or as a patron of Monroe's?
No, I was going to have a cocktail. Hi, Mike.
I do apologize. They're actually not open.
Okay, I'm going to leave you guys alone. Good to see you.
All right.
Take care.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. So, yeah, please.
And so, be a possibility to merge with Olive?
So the question was, can we merge with Olive, or as a part of the fire territory that would keep us under the same fire protection, EMS protection, which, I mean, it's right across the county line. Unfortunately, I've heard repeatedly, and Tim Creason, who, is he a township member, a township board member?
I believe so.
Is he Olive or New Carlisle? Either one.
He lives in the city of New Carlisle, I do know that.
Okay. Yeah, he's a very knowledgeable person. He's been keeping us up to date on what's going on. He's said repeatedly, and his understanding, my understanding, and many people I've spoken to say, you cannot merge townships across county lines.
Well, that's what I kind of thought, because
Yeah.
I have a friend that lives in St. Joe County, and she was asking if she should come to the meeting tonight. I said, I thought it only affected LaPorte County, but you're saying
It affects the entire state. So
The entire
maybe,
state.
maybe this, I can, again, this is going to be on the Facebook page, so maybe as a resource, send it to them, have them go to their township board meetings. They should all be talking about it, because it should be impacting everybody. I know there's probably a lot more I need to cover, but we've been talking prior to my recording. Is there anything else that we discussed prior, or any other questions? I don't want to repeat too much, but I do want to repeat for people who might be viewing online.
Do you know the list of responsibilities that each trustee is to do?
I'm aware, there is so the question is there a list of responsibilities that trustees are supposed to do? There is a handbook, I believe, produced by the state. I have that. It's quite the reading. I was more mentored by Brian Gray, as this is what our responsibilities are. I've spoken to other trustees. That's how I've done it. I don't know if I want to say this on recording, but let's say I haven't gone through every word of the handbook. But those responsibilities are making sure that you're covered with fire protection, not EMS. I understand that is a meaningful distinction. Unless I have that wrong, trustees are required to make sure that their townships are covered by fire, not EMS. So if they don't, like in our instance, we have fire protection and EMS through our fire territory. If we didn't, say, in an alternate universe, we just contracted with Kankakee, who just has volunteer firemen, EMS would then be coming from the county. Okay, so that's a meaningful distinction, meaningful thing to know. On top of fire protection, they're in charge of taking care of township property. That, for us, as not having a township building, we did, the old clubhouse. If you didn't follow that, we had a building that taxes weren't paid. We got it. We sold it for some funds. It needed too much. Oh, right, of course, yes. And the purchaser is in the room with us. For us, our property is vacant land. It's land that's underwater. It's the cemetery, the old Pioneer Cemetery. It's the park, and any other, I guess, investment land. Like Hudson had purchased land for the fire department, back in '82, I believe. So that's land that Hudson has. So looking over that land, and then poor relief. That's really, for most people, if they don't, other than cutting a check for fire protection, a trustee's largest thing is going to be poor relief. And that's really outside of reporting, and making sure that our files are turned in. It's taking calls for assistance, township assistance, and that's people, whatever the issue may be. But just if they explain their circumstances, if it seems reasonable to the trustee, you can decide to cut a check, give assistance, that kind of thing. I think those are really the largest things that a trustee will deal with. Some have more on their plate, like Will Miller over in St. Joe. Obviously, he had his township is the operator of the territory, so obviously he has more to do than just cutting a check. Or in our instance, we're on a fire territory. I don't even have to cut a check; it directly gets taxed and sent in an ACH to the territory. Hi.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late.
No,
I had
you're perfectly fine.
unexpected company.
Perfect. Just to put it out there, we've covered a few topics. Any questions, concerns? I've kind of rambled off as much as I could off the top of my head about SB 270, but anything else related to that? Any questions you have? Anything?
Can you summarize the important stuff?
Yeah, in a summary, I would recommend for details, check out the video I'll be posting on Facebook, but quick details. Hudson Township may have to consolidate with a surrounding township. It must be in LaPorte Township. That would, if we merge, either on our own volition or forcibly by the state entity forcing us, that would change our fire territory status, because obviously we'd be growing in territory, and we'd either have to reform the territory or find other fire protection.
And why would we want to unite, or why would we have to unite?
Yeah, so there's a point system that there are two bills that came out from the state. The one that passed is a point system, and it's golf rules. You want less points, up to 8 points possible. 4 or more, you must merge or appeal. And I believe Hudson Township will get 3 points. I believe that is good faith. That is I did the Indiana Township Association scorecard. I believe we will get 3. And I've spoken to other people who think we will get 3. I've heard other people have spoken to other people. Again, this is multiple layers of people talking that have been reported back to me that, oh, we're going to get 8 points. Oh, we're going to get 4 points. Oh, we're going to have to definitely merge. I haven't spoken to anybody who said that they filled out the scorecard that said we will get 4 or more points. I've been told that somebody spoke to somebody who said that. So I believe we were going to get 3 points. I believe we will not have to merge.
Would there be any benefit to us merging?
Well, I think it's, yeah. I mean, any just like any kind of consolidation, you're going to see. You're paying. Let's just take the example: Wills Township, Hudson Township, just as an example. There's 2 trustees, 6 board members. That's twice as much trustee salary, twice as much town board member salary. You know, to cover if you consolidate those, okay, well, you're saving half the salary hypothetically, and that means that those funds could be better spent on township assistance, fire protection, upgrades to the park, whatever your flavor, whatever the interest of the trustee is. And thinks it's worthwhile to spend those resources there rather than elsewhere. Alternatively, I mean, I think we have basically the same amount of population between Wills and Hudson, basically. So you have twice as many people to cover with that township assistance. But you should have twice as much township assistance funding. So really, it's just it's efficient to a point, but obviously you're spreading out over larger distances. It can get more difficult, but I think there's obviously benefits, and while you can make arguments against it, those down at the State House have thought that this is the way forward. I've just always
felt like the meetings I've come to that you, meaning you and the board, are able to focus on things that are important to Hudson Township that might not be important to some other township.
Absolutely, and I'm not sure 100% if. I presume there's not going to be like 2 different precincts where you're going to have one person, one township board member from Hudson, one township board member from Wills, again, just hypothetically, and then one person that's at large. I don't think that that's going to be the case. You might just have 3 board members from the whole area. So if Wills puts up 3 board members, Hudson doesn't worry about it or whatever, then you end up with 3 people from Wills who are interested primarily in those things that benefit or affect them versus Hudson. So it's going to be important that you play for your own side. You show up and you ask for what you think is fair. Again, you're talking about 2 townships becoming 1 or even more townships. I'm just using the example of Wills and Hudson, but who knows? I mean, there's going to be. I would assume there's going to be cases where many townships become one, you know, so how they're all going to differentiate, how that political power is going to be spread out. You could imagine a scenario where you have a township that does everything right, has 1 point, 0 points, and then every township around them has 4 or more points, and they all get merged into this one. And let's say that one township has all the population. Let's say it has 50,000 people, and everybody around them has 2,000. They end up with a trustee. They end up with 3 board members, and you have no political representation from the outside townships. And all of, not that there's, again, you're talking about 50,000 people's tax revenue versus however many other people and their tax revenue, but you're talking about that tax revenue being concentrated in the interests of, you know, one portion of the township now. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. I mean, obviously,
So it's just in the beginning stages as far as anything actually happening?
Yeah, I mentioned that at the beginning. It hasn't even been signed, to my knowledge, unless he did it today. The governor hasn't even signed this yet.
Okay.
But it's passed both House and Senate. It's gone through revisions. I'm still hearing, somebody is still telling me some things are still up in the air. But knowing, you know, not knowing, but understanding the governor, I think there's no shot that he doesn't sign this, and that we're going to be impacted. So I just think it's a matter of when it's signed and then how it is, you know, those rules are constituted by, I believe it's going to be DLGF or SBOA, one of them, these state agencies to decide what our points are going to be and who can remain independent, who can be a receiving, you know, because some people are going to get those higher points and then have to merge into somebody who has lower points. So how that all shakes out is that's unclear. I think by the end of the year we'll have clarity on that.
Okay.
And then we have all of next year to, well, not all of next year. We have like 6 months next year, just after the election, for whoever the new trustee or board members are going to be in all these townships, because the election is up for, I think, for everybody. They will have to decide who they're going to merge with, who they're not going to merge with. And then I think by the end of the year, next year, it should be all done.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And what's the name of this bill again?
I believe it is SB 270. That's, yeah, if you just type in SB 270 Indiana, it should come up. Yeah, and if you're Googling it, ask if the governor signed it. I don't think it has been, but, okay, so I'll.
It's buried on his desk somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Any other questions, concerns about SB 270? I know we're going to have this conversation over and over all year. So, but I just wanted to, even if I didn't have the board members, even if it wasn't an official meeting, I wanted to get it out on video and talk to people who showed up.
I appreciate that.
This might happen.
Now, regardless of what township you're in, you can still attend any meeting.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So the question is, can you attend any meeting? You should. You should attend as many meetings as you're interested in to understand what they're going to be doing. And again, I had mentioned I've opened up lines of communication with the trustee of Wills, Kankakee. I have a line of communication with Galena. I haven't had that conversation yet. We were just trying to find the right time to talk. I've spoken to a board member in Galena. I've spoken to, I have the number for the chief in Kankakee. So just having as many conversations as possible, knowing who our neighbors are, who we might be with, who we might have joining us, and then presenting it to the boards of, hey, do we want to go sit in on one of their meetings? Do we want to have them come sit in on one of our meetings? Just to get all really friendly with each other and know what we're up against so that they can judge us and see if we're the kind of township they might want to join with voluntarily, or the reverse. Because there's going to be situations where people are going to want to join and you don't want them to. But so.
Brian responded, the Wills Township means the 26th of this month at 6 p.m.
Okay, so the Wills Township meeting is going to be the 26th of March at what time?
6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. in Central?
Yes.
At 6 p.m. Central at the
Community building
community building in Wills. So
on 350 North.
350 North. So that's what I had. I'm and then anything else not even related to 270. Happy to talk about anything, everything, township wise. Okay. As long as we don't talk about.
No, I was just really curious about this because this is something definitely new,
It's definitely exciting.
so.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then I'll just close out the video and get that posted. And I appreciate you coming and helping me get everything out. I appreciate that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have covered everything that I did. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.